All right. Hello, I'm Julia.
And I'm Sue.
And welcome to A Whole Lot of Craft. Today on episode 58 of A Whole Lot of Craft, we're going to be talking about what we've been working on after our long spring break. And we'll be doing some book reviews. Join us.
We're back!
Yeah.
We didn't leave the country, unfortunately.
I was feeling badly. Kept thinking I should put something up like, we haven't forgotten, but we've had technical difficulties.
And a lot of illness.
Yeah.
I think everybody has.
Yeah, the computer died, and then the recording chip died, and then we couldn't reformat the new recording chip. So, which is why we didn't record last time. And then I got bronchitis. And you had a cold?
And I had a cold before that.
Oh my gosh, so the whole month.
We're just calling it spring break.
And it's cold again.
So we're calling it winter break.
Yeah.
We're hoping the winter breaks soon.
Yeah, I know. I really could use some fresh air and sunshine and windows open.
That's why we're wearing sweaters in
April. Some places I suppose it's still normal. Where I used to live, it's still normal, but anyway.
But welcome back. We have lots to give away today.
Yeah.
Because we've been out of touch.
Yep, so we have actually the giveaway from the stash along. We drew to give it away last time, but you know how it goes. So the winner of our stash along, I have it written down here, was number 14, and that is Sally from Idaho. So congratulations, Sally. And you are going to get a lovely skein of yarn, which I would show you, but I don't know where I put it.
I think it might be in my prize bag.
It might be. So, and she made a shawl out of some Felici that she had in her stash.
Nice.
Felici. It was beautiful. It's called For the Love of Rainbows.
Nice.
She's a very prolific knitter. I am in awe of her. She makes a lot of stuff. So, Sally, get in touch with me and I will send you the yarn, or Sue will send you the yarn. We'll get it to you.
We will.
Somehow.
Soon.
She's my roommate for the retreat, too.
Oh,
So, yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, and speaking of giveaways, we have the bags.
Bags. We decided to extend the bags.
Mm-hmm.
If you remember our podcast that was, these are all different ways, where we went over organizational pieces. We decided since we were on a long extended spring break, we would give you a little bit more time to enter in this. So you can put on our thread what your favorite bag is, or your favorite organizational techniques for your stash, for your current projects, or for long-term storage for, in your studio or wherever you store your goodies. So any of those things on our thread, and we will be picking from that, and we have lots of prizes to give away.
We'll redate the thread for April 30th, right?
Yes.
30 days has September. Yeah, April 30th.
Yes, April 30th.
So you have a couple more weeks here to get into that drawing, if you'd like to. There's one of these bags here, or a coupon to Kitchen Countercrafter store.
That's right.
So yeah, so lots of opportunities to win, and 5 different people will win, which is really exciting.
Yes. Many will enter, many will win.
Yes. Which is always a nice thing. So those are the giveaways. And have you been working on stuff then?
Little bit.
What you got?
I forgot one of my things, but anyway. Now I've been working on a custom piece, and I was going to bring what I had braided, and I just remembered. I knew when I was walking out the door, I was like, I'm forgetting something, and that's what it was.
It happens.
So I was working on that. This is my newest thing. I did that weaving class a few weeks ago at the college. And so this is my take on it. It may be hard to see, but basically what these are is, these are all the envelopes that you get, bills in and junk mail. All I did was open them up. I don't have one. I'm sure I have one here that's already opened up. and cut strips, and I wove different things together. This one I actually used, I used 2 similar patterns. These are a little bit different.
Yeah,
and I didn't try it using black and blue together. That's a little crazy. But anyway, it's just fun. And what I did is I went online and I just looked up weaving patterns. So this is exactly like making the placemats that you made when you were in grade school and you made your placemats for Thanksgiving.
Right.
Do you remember that?
Yes,
with the colored
paper.
strips?
Yeah, with paper.
But we always went over, under, over, under,
Yeah.
over. This is variations on that. So this particular one, you get these like V's.
Oh, I see that. It's chevron-y.
It's a chevron-y, yes. And that's by, you have to follow pattern. So this one's like 2 over, 2 under, 2 over, 2 under. The next one is 1 under, 3 over, 3 under, 3 over. So just looking at weaving patterns and looking at different ones that you find interesting, and then just...
Yeah, we tried this while our camera wasn't working. And I had a lot of fun with it, but it was much more challenging than I expected it to be. So that was
right. You really have to concentrate. And we were trying to take the patterns from the interweb.
Yeah.
Which is really hard to do, because if you have it printed out, you can put some sort of a marker and say, I'm here.
Put a line.
And then I'm here, and then I'm here. It's hard on when it keeps going off your screen.
Yes.
When it's on your iPad. But so that's what I've been working on, and then it's gonna become something. I just haven't figured out quite yet. It might be jewelry, it might be, I don't know.
That was my question for Sue, that, now I have this is not mine, but I have one like it, and what do you do with it now that we're done? My kids are all like, "That's nice, Mom. What is it?" And so
you can even just make it even putting them all together and just framing it would be really cool.
Oh, that would be cool. Mm-hmm.
This one though is so pretty on the back, even though it's the back.
This all the little stripes.
Just all the stripes are really pretty, because you get the same pattern on the back. It's just not with these. Anyway,
well, I'm curious to see what you come up with.
I have to say it's one of the cheapest, easiest things ever, because you get these all the time.
Yeah.
And like I was saying before, I got this one the other day that had such a beautiful pattern, and I couldn't wait to pay the bill, so I have the envelope.
They're really fun.
It might be a new way to put a spin on doing bills, which nobody wants to do. I know, they're so fun, and it's funny too when you get ones from the same companies after a while. They tend to have the same thing, and now I recognize my bills by what company they're coming from by their what are these called? Safety envelopes?
Yeah. The safety cover.
Anyway, honestly, you could go out and buy them, but really, you get them in the mail every day for free.
Yeah.
So, something fun.
Very creative.
I'm working on.
That's neat.
Yeah. So, and I did get to go to Julia's knitting
she came to my class, and that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
That was so fun, and I got that far.
Which is cool. I
haven't done anything since. It is cool. The funny thing about being in Julia's knitting class, which, I need someone to help me, is every time she'd walk away, I'd continue knitting, and when she'd come back, she'd say, "Well, it looks good, but that's not what you told me you were going to do," or "That's not following the pattern." So I inadvertently learned the rib stitch by doing something wrong.
You did, but it looks really nice. It looks like a sampler, honestly.
It is an accidental sampler.
I love my class because they're all a bunch of perfectionists, and they do one little thing wrong, and they're like, "Fix it, fix it, fix it." And here's Sue lying on the couch laughing at all of them.
At all my mistakes.
Yes, but it's beautiful.
Yes, I'm gonna have to frame this too.
Yeah. But something like that, though. This class, you just do it. You just do it, and it is what it is.
Right. Exactly. And it's small. That's why I stay small. But anyway, yes, I did actually do some knitting. It does actually look really nice.
It does.
But it just isn't what the pattern said I'm supposed to. But
I am okay with that. You are a more free-form person. Like, there are people who have to read a pattern, and there are people who are like, whatever, I'm going to make up my own thing. I think you are the latter. I just get this feeling.
It makes me think of Laura Ingalls. You know, when they used to do the samplers to learn how to do the stitches for embroidery. So anyway.
You're very own pioneer girl.
Exactly. In a modern world.
Yes.
I think they're going to make an American Girl movie about me.
That would be fun.
Susie knits. In Easton.
All right.
So what have you been working on?
Well, I did finish a couple things, actually. I finished up, because I've been motivated to try to do other stuff. I finished up my second scarlet.
All right.
I may have showed this before. I don't think it was done last time though. But this is the second finish. So it's the same shape as the first one, but it's all one skein.
Okay.
So it's more of a uniform color versus the color blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm working on the third prototype behind me here. And it's not quite finished yet, but this one's going to be a slightly different shape, one skein. And with any luck, this will be ready to go mid-month.
Pretty colors.
Yeah. And
Sort of
so I'll have the
sweet.
pattern released soonly.
Looks like the beach.
It's called Sea Wash. So apparently they did that right. But yes, this is the third one. And I just need to finish up. I don't have a whole lot left, this much more. So that's coming along.
So is it finished when you get to the end of the skein?
Yes. Yeah, and that's what I think is kind of fun about this is it's a one skein project and you can make it as big or small as you want. So you just keep going until you have no more. If you want to make it bigger, you add on another color. If you want to make it, you know, just that size, then you finish it there. And so you don't have to have a specific type of yarn in order to make it. So some skeins have different lengths than others, so just knit until you're done.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, so with any luck, people will enjoy that, and I've gotten some good feedback from my testers, so that's good news.
Yes.
And then this is my scraps cowl that I started like
Oh yeah,
a year
I
or
remember
more
that.
ago.
But you were working very diligently on it over the fall and winter.
No, I put it away for like a year.
Really?
Yeah.
I feel like I just saw it.
And I got tired of it being where it was, and I decided to use the yarn for something different, so I just cast it off. And I sewed it shut, and there it is. So
It's fun.
it makes me laugh because when I wear it like this way, it looks really dark. And then when I turn it around, it looks really bright. So have you ever seen that animal cartoon, or not cartoon, but like a voiceover where it has this bird that's like hiding behind itself and it goes, nighttime, daytime. This is what makes me think of it, like nighttime, daytime. Because it's bright.
I
And then
think
it's
that's
not.
for when you are out one day and you're not really sure who you're going to run into or what you're going to have to do.
Yeah.
You know, so you can kind of just turn it and have different outfits.
Yeah, you could, and it'll match anything. I'll post a link to that silly bird because it just makes me laugh all the time.
I've
Nighttime.
never seen a silly bird. I'm going to have to go see
Yeah,
it.
my nighttime, daytime scowl. But it was fun, and these are all minis, like just little, you know, so maybe it makes 2 stripes. And so if you have little mini skeins and you don't want to make a blanket, this is a good thing to make.
Yeah.
I have to
Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm
Yeah.
Linda.
Pardon me.
I saw that the other day on a rerun.
Those are so funny.
It made me feel really old.
Yes.
Welcome back to Coffee Talk. This is Julia. She knits.
One of my kids said, that was awesome. And I said, what? And she goes, I said, that's awesome. And I said, no, you didn't. You said awesome. And what's funny to me is probably, I don't know, when I lived in Texas, there was I couldn't even say Albany because the ah was too hard for me. I had to call it Albany. And now I'm going, whoa, like I'm living in Jersey for the past century. It's amazing to me how accents you can pick them up like that. Yeah, it's very Jersey around here lately. It's awesome. And I'm not making fun of it anymore because I say it. I've been kind of keeping along with the stash along idea because I always have a ton of scraps. So I'm making some really crazy socks. These are all the colors.
Oh my goodness.
There's like 6 different colors of pink, and some
It
of
makes
them are
me think of kittens.
striping and not. Yeah.
Kittens. Gray and pink
It
is
does.
kittens.
So this is the bottom of a sock, and this is actually 2 different colors so far. 3, 4. You see, my head is not where it needs to be right now. I just started the 4th color. It's just a little tiny bit of that bright pink there.
Okay.
So this is 1, and then the skinnier stripes are 2, and the heel is a 3rd, and then this part here is a 4th. And these, if I get them done in time, will be part 2 of birthday present for
Oh, fun.
the oldest. So those are really fun. These are Molly's Magic Socks, I think, or something like that.
They're really pretty. They're going to be so
Yeah.
cute.
I think they're going to be fun. And this is great because now I've got 1,000 other colors in the basement, so I can just mix and match all kinds of different patterns. So there's that, and then this is my other stash down. I actually started this shawl 2 years ago, and put it away, and something ate it. So it had a big hole in it.
Aww.
Yeah, so I took it apart and started again. And I'm about 4 years late to the color affection party because everybody made these back in like 2011 or something. But I had the yarn, I bought the yarn, so here it is. This is how far I've gotten thus far. And this is the last section, so all I have to do is finish up those stripes
Fun.
all the way across, and that'll be done. So I'm really cutting down on my stash.
Good for you.
I haven't shown you guys what I bought, but
So you're really not cutting down on your stuff?
well, see, I don't feel so bad about it because I'm using the stuff that I've got, and then I'm kind of replacing it with something new. So it's not like I'm
That's a whole theory, right?
Yeah.
If you're going to buy something new, you have to take something.
right.
So do you have to use the stash or start a project before you are allowing yourself to buy something new?
No, and that's been kind
You're
of
not that strict.
no, and that's kind of been my issue is that a lot of the things I've been getting this year are things that I'm like, I've never used this person before, and I just happened to have the opportunity to pick it up. So I'm going to do it because
Right. Yes,
know.
you can't always go back and get that.
Right.
Same thing with beads. When you go to a bead show,
Yeah.
if you want it, you better buy it. 'Cause
Yeah.
Even if you call the company to explain to them and it's this bead,
mm-hmm.
yeah, you better just
Yeah.
get it.
So that's been kind of a problem this year. And then next weekend is the Steel City Fiber Festival.
Yes.
So that's another opportunity to find some new yarns. So if anybody is going to be at the Steel City Fiber Festival, I will be there on Sunday. You can come say hi. Are you going to think you can go?
I don't know.
Maybe Sue will be
There's
there
like
too.
27 things happening next weekend.
Yeah.
And I just found out it's the opening of the Easton Public Market next weekend.
Yes,
as well.
it is.
Not that we have to go to the
I
opening.
know,
But
it would be nice.
But we were joking about how if we didn't have anything to do, because literally there's about 17 things planned for my weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, there's going to be a lot next weekend. My mom's coming down for it because she's never been to a fiber festival before. So,
Oh, fun.
so it's going to be an interesting, just an interesting time, I think. So if anybody does show up,
Fun.
say hello.
Yes, maybe I'll be there, maybe I won't.
Yeah.
If I can slide it in somewhere in my schedule, I will.
Field trip. I love field trips. They're fun. But anyway, the last thing I've been working on, and this is not from Stash. This I bought because it's the birthday sweater, and it's mostly we're getting close to being done. So this is I think I showed you guys last time the yarn, but this is Miranda,
Oh, fun.
and I am working now on the kangaroo pocket,
Oh,
coming down the front with the pocket, and it's going to get a hood. So all I really have is the pocket, the ribbed base, and then the hood, and it's going to be done. So I have 2 weeks to finish that. But I love the color. Love, love, love it.
it is.
It's like
really
my
pretty.
favorite color ever. So hopefully,
It's not too far off from what you're wearing.
no, it's not. I'm definitely a dark, jewel-toned kind of girl. But she's seen glimpses of it, and she likes the color as well. So that says a lot. So that's Miranda.
Fun.
And that's all really I've been doing. Just plugging along on these things, trying to get them done. So, but today, no DIY.
No DIY.
Today we're going to be reviewing 2 books.
Book reviews.
We were sent them by Cooperative Press a little while back, and we've kind of been working our way through the books. So today we're going to do River Ganseys and Modern Lopi, which are stylistically similar in that they are regionally based,
Mm-hmm.
I guess is a good way to put it. So,
We'll talk more about that.
yeah. So come on right back and we'll get into it.
So today we're reviewing 2 books,
Mhm.
and the first one is called Modern Lopi,
Mm-hmm.
and it's by Lars Rains. So a man wrote it,
Yes.
which is fun.
I know, it's like we don't have that a whole
A
lot.
man write something, because we don't always happen to have that. And it was a really neat book.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Not only just the patterns, but the little stories and stuff too that are before each pattern.
Yes. Well, he's from Iceland, or that area, Scandinavia. And I don't know, personally, I would like to go to Iceland
I
someday.
think that would be cool.
And so I could use this book as a guide. Because he talks about the names of the patterns are named after specific features or towns. And in fact, the pattern that we both like,
Yeah, we like the same one.
it's called Hildur. I like it because of the story. Because now I just lost my page. I like it because of the little story that he wrote before it. It's coming up. I know.
Yeah.
There it is. And it's about how it pays tribute to the Queen of the Owls named Holdefolk.
Oh, okay.
Or Holdefolk, that's the name of the hidden people. And like he goes into this whole thing about how road construction projects have been halted in order to study the effects on the elves. So
that's I actually I think we watch a podcast where they talk about some myths and stuff. Listen to, and they talked about them. Now that I'm putting the two and two together.
So anyway,
Yeah.
but it's beyond the little story that goes with it. It's a really beautiful pattern.
It is. It reminds me of plaid, like almost like a tartan. So it kind of pulls in some of another aesthetic into the Icelandic feel.
But at the same time, the color choices that they used in this particular sample were not that traditional.
Right. Yeah, and it's a bulky weight. So I was looking through it, and one of the things that I really enjoyed about the book is that he does do sweaters in various weights of yarn. So it goes from bulky, and then the worsted, and then the lighter version, which I think is a sport weight. So really, you could, if you wanted to, pull the patterning from one, rework it, and put it into a different weight sweater. But I don't think this one looks, like when I look at it, I don't think, oh, bulky sweater.
Right.
Right.
So the whole idea of Lopi is, it's a regional type knit.
And also a wool.
Right. So the name comes from the sheep or the type of yarn you tend to use.
Yes.
But it tends to be those Icelandic yolks.
Yes.
And that's what makes it a Lopi pattern.
I believe so. Yes. Yeah, I think there are some that are intarsia based. Like I made one probably 20 years ago that had giant leaves all over it. And it was considered a Lopi, but for that one I did specifically go and buy the Lopi brand yarn for it. So I don't, thinking back on it, I'm not sure which came first, the yarn or the pattern that made it Lopi. But this one, there's definitely the yoke style runs throughout the book.
Did you get a chance to read any of the patterns or try anything?
I did not. I didn't have a chance to get through that, but from what I can tell, they appear to be well written. The schematics have a lot of detail in them. I did like that the charts are in color.
Yeah, that's really helpful.
Because sometimes they're just done in symbols, and I think this would be easier for a beginner using color work charts to see kind of where the different colors go. And I liked that he put not just abbreviations, but actual instructions on how to do the different techniques at the end of the book. So if you don't know how to do a particular cast on, he actually wrote out all of the details on how to do it. And that's a lot easier than having to go look it up online. It's right there for you already.
Right.
He talked about yarn dominance. I don't know if you noticed that at all. Have you heard of that?
No.
Yarn dominance being when you're working a Fair Isle pattern. Fair Isle is two colors at the same time. Depending on how you hold the yarn, like which one is stranded below the other, one of the colors will dominate. So you can make the pattern look completely different using the same two colors, just depending on whether you have light on top, dark on the bottom, or vice versa. I'll put some pictures up so I can show you some of the, but that's something that I don't think you always think about. Like, how do I hold the yarn and how do I keep it consistent throughout the whole
without it
color?
twisting.
Yeah.
And so he gives you tips on that.
Yeah, which I thought was great. It took me a long time to realize that was even an issue. And in something with so much color work, you don't want to have part of it like red and then yellow. You want it to be all
consistent.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I really enjoyed the book. I'm looking forward to trying a couple things out of it for next winter.
What do you think you're going to try?
I will probably do the Hilder, being that that's my favorite.
Yes.
And in bulky weight, it's also a quicker pattern. It'll go a lot faster than one that was a lighter weight.
The Catla looks very, very cozy.
Yes.
That looks and it's very traditional. But that one's named after the volcanoes on Iceland.
That one's more of an Aran style,
Right.
rather than
That's what he said.
rather than the Lopi or the yoke. And when I first started knitting, that's like the only kind of sweater I wanted to make. It was the cable knit. I just wanted 1,700 of those. And I look at it now and I think I still love it, but it's a lot. to me, it's a lot of work now. I don't want to discourage anybody who might like that kind of thing. But it's beautiful. You know, if you can sit down and you can find the time to sit and really do those cables, it turns out a beautiful product. I think I changed the neckline on that one though.
It's a cozy winter
Yeah.
sweater.
Yeah.
But you can do that because you are good at changing things.
Relatively.
I would have to stick with it if
Yeah.
I even attempted it.
The only thing that threw me off at all, and this is a really silly nitpicky thing, is that they have one model whose hair is dyed blonde and his beard is dark. And there was a couple times when he would have like a hat on and he looked like a totally different guy than the other one. And I kept doing double takes as I'm looking through the pictures, trying to figure out why he looked different from one picture to another.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. He also did experimented with some things where he, like you said, used different weights on items that you wouldn't necessarily use those weights.
Right.
So one of them was the winter blueberries, where he talked about how he did a shawl, but he used the bulky yarn.
Right, normally you never see
normally
lace.
use lace weight.
Right.
Listen to me, I know what I'm talking
You
about.
do. I think that was great. There's a number of different kinds of patterns. There's 2 hats, a shawl, scarf kind of thing, and then a whole bunch of sweaters. So there's a nice variety of types.
So would you recommend this book?
I would recommend this book. And actually it's not, for 12 patterns it's $19.95, so I don't think it's overly priced. It does only come in digital though. You can't get a hard copy, I don't believe, at this point. But I like the book quite a bit.
Okay. So that will be one of our giveaways. We're going to give away a copy of that to somebody. And then the second book that we're talking about today is The River Ganseys.
Right. Which to me,
I gotta pull that one up.
yes, so I. River Ganseys was very, very informative, I thought. It read a lot like a history book, I thought.
It did. And the pictures in it are historical pictures. It's like walking into a museum. So if you're interested in the history of knitting or wool or yarn,
especially regionally to the Yorkshire, England area.
But just I think even in general, because there's a lot of pictures of implements in there that I didn't know what they were or what they were used for.
Yeah, there were some interesting things. Yeah.
So it is, because it's basically, 200-page book, and the first 150 pages or so are history.
Yes.
And the last 50 are patterns.
Yeah.
So it's really top heavy on the history part. So if you like that, it's really very interesting.
Yeah, and I am not always one to read all of the stuff in knitting books. I flip straight to the patterns. And this one I read a good 4 or 5 chapters before I even realized I hadn't gotten to the patterns yet. So it's an interesting read on top of the fact that it's historical and there's a lot of there's good stuff in it.
Yeah, it is. It is fascinating, even if you aren't really a big knitter. Like me. It's still, and it really, truly, the way that she must have taken the pictures from different museums and stuff, because that's how it reminded me. As soon as it was like you literally stepped into a museum, and we're walking through, looking at a knitting museum. I wonder if there is a knitting museum. Is there?
I don't know. That would be fun to go check out, though. There's got to be textile type. Maybe it's mixed in with other stuff.
There's a textile museum not too far from here. I've never been there. Anyway,
field trip. One of the things I really liked about the information she gave is she not only looked at the historical stuff, but she also talked about the myths and the legends, and the some of the things that I thought I knew about sweaters and stylists, or styles and where they came from, were completely off base. So now I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not going to go spreading rumors anymore. At least, assuming that she knows what she's talking about, I can say the right thing now instead of spreading.
So what's one thing that you learned?
That the patterning in the Aran sweater is not necessarily, or even in the Gansey sweater is not necessarily specific for a person. Like it was not a signature to identify a drowned sailor. Like that's been discussed, that they would wear a certain kind of crossed pattern, or they would have a star, or they would something would go with that family. when really it ended up being that it was just something that happened to be passed down through the family because that's how they'd always done it.
Okay.
So it wasn't purposeful.
You could possibly identify them with that, but that wasn't the purpose of
Right.
that pattern. It
Right.
was just that that's what they did.
Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Of course, I could be misquoting.
And we spent a little while there talking about what is a Gansey.
Mm-hmm.
What makes it that? Because we were talking about the Lopi, that the yarn and the Icelandic print and the
Right,
yoke
the
is
style.
generally what makes it a Lopi sweater. So
Right.
if I wanted to knit a Gansey pattern, what would I be looking for?
Right. What
And we
makes
were
it
having
Gansey?
a hard time coming up with an answer.
Yeah, and there's a section in the book where it did talk about how it's possible that the word morphed from Norse or Old English, and that the name for yarn, which was garn pronounced slightly differently, and I'm going to mess it up, it was something like hyan, which to me sounds like Boston. But, sorry for any of y'all out there. But the yarn, which was Garn, actually, like the Gansey was another pronunciation of yarnsey, which is just a sweater. It's a yarny thing, rather than a style of pattern, which is what I always thought.
Yes, that's what I was thinking, that it was going to be a style of pattern.
Yeah.
And I was trying to see that through the patterns that she chose.
Right.
And granted, a lot of them are updated patterns, although some of them are based on pieces that she has found in the museums. The author of this book is actually, she writes about knitting and genealogy in the UK and the United States. So she's got a lot of different feelers in different places. But I was trying to see the similarities in the patterns and having a hard time pulling that together.
Right, so I guess technically it's not the straight knit sweater that ends here with the pattern and then is stockinette from the bottom, although that's one kind of Gansey. But what I did see is that originally it was underwear. So it was knit extremely snugly to be snugly like gauge-wise, not bulky. But to keep the water out, to make it more weatherproof. So maybe you might find a technical Gansey sweater being tighter gauge.
I don't know, does anybody know out there?
Yeah. Debate.
Talks amongst yourselves.
Yes.
I didn't say that right, but talk amongst yourselves.
Gansey, is Gansey a style or not?
Yes.
Talk amongst yourselves. We are totally butchering that.
We'll have to work on it for next time. Were there any particular patterns that you liked in this?
Actually, what's funny is the one that drew me the most is called Popped-Un. Popped-Un.
Yeah,
and
it's a weird name.
It's the only one that doesn't have any pattern, like textural patterning on it.
Yeah, it's just stripes.
It's just stripes.
And then the rib at the bottom.
Yeah. But that's the one I would probably wear.
I liked that one too. The other one I liked was the Parthenope. But that to me is a very traditional looking sweater with cables down.
Yeah.
And so it was, that's what you think of. That's what I think of when I think of a sweater.
Right. I did think that the styling is slightly, it's a little less
modern.
Yeah, a little less modern, a little more traditional in the styling of the sweaters, so that it's, I don't know, it's more of the timeless, straight cut, what you think about if you were knitting something from a vintage pattern. So if you like that shape, it's not going to be the kind that's got waist shaping and darts here and there. It's just a very straightforward sweater shape that, I think is a nice style in itself. There is one that's a little more shaped. Ebiezer. I'm sorry.
Ebiezer.
Thank you.
That's what we're going with.
It's a little more shaped. But they did throw some neat things in, like their underarm gussets that I've never tried before. I think that's kind of an interesting way of constructing an underarm, and they teach you how to add initials to the sweater if you want to.
Yeah, there's several alphabets at the end, which I thought was really kind of neat.
So, you could personalize it for your child if you wanted to do something like that. So, but yeah, I think this is again, it's a very historical, very informative book. So if you like that kind of thing and you like your traditional sweater, I think this is totally the book for you.
Definitely.
What's your thought?
Yes, I think if you like the historical aspect, like you said, it's definitely an interesting read. It's definitely worth taking a look at.
And the charts are textural charts. They're not in color. So, which is different from the Lope in that you're not working two colors, you're working just one. And it's all textural stitches instead of the multicolored. But technically I think it looks like it's written well. It's got a lot of detail in the patterns.
Yeah, I think it's a decent book. And how much is it? Do you remember?
This one, actually you can get it in not paperback, but printed, actually a book for $26.95, or you can get it digitally for $16.95, all through the Cooperative Press store.
Yeah, so.
And we'll have this one to give away as well.
Yes, we will. So we're going to open a thread. One, maybe we'll open 2 threads. One, what do you know about Ganseys? Is it a style? Is it a cultural reference? Is it an artistic style?
Right.
And then we'll have a second thread that what's our topic going to be?
We will figure it out and get back to you on that one. We must talk amongst ourselves. But there'll be a thread in the group for a giveaway.
Yes.
The whole Lotta Craft group.
Yes. So we'll be giving a copy of each book to one person. So, yeah. So please post anything that you know, or put up pictures of your work. It might just be a knitted what you're working on right now that's knitted.
Yeah, because technically, I guess we are all in Ganseys, so it's kind of fun.
Yes.
You learn something new every day, right? All right, well, thank you for joining us on our adventures in crafting.
Yes, hopefully no more technical or health-related spring breaks as we dive into the warmer weather.
Yes.
And get back onto our regular schedule.
So we will see you guys soon, and again, don't forget to come say hi if you happen to be at local festivals.
Yes. So happy crafting!
Bye.